Okay, let's dive right into this. We talk a ton about making AI agents more intelligent, right? But what about making them more aware? Today, we're going to look at something really cool. How Nova Browser is tackling this with a concept designed to make AI agents both smarter and safer, right inside the browser. So, here's the big question. Why do these incredibly powerful, super smart AI agents sometimes just fail at tasks that seem pretty simple? Well, the core problem, and what we're digging into today, isn't that the AI model is dumb. Not at all. It's a lack of context, a fundamental lack of awareness of the world it's actually working in. Think about it like this. When you use a website, you instinctively get the unwritten rules, right? You just know not to click a certain link because, yeah, that's probably going to log you out or reset everything. But an AI agent, it's like a brilliant specialist who's been dropped into a foreign country. It knows exactly what its mission is, but it has no clue about the local customs. It just follows instructions to the letter, which means it can easily take one simple, logical step that turns out to be, well, a total disaster. And here is a perfect and honestly a super common example of this blindness. You know those modern web apps? They're called single-page applications, or SPAs, where your logged-in session just kind of exists in the browser's memory. Well, for an agent, one single wrong navigation command, something that seems completely harmless, can trigger a full-page reload. And just like that, it's wiped out its own session. The agent has logged itself out, and it has absolutely no idea why. So how in the world do you solve this problem of a blind agent? Well, Nova Browser's answer is a really elegant system they call agent awareness gates. So what is an AGG? At its heart, it's a guard system. It's always watching what the agent is doing. And when it sees the agent is about to do something dangerous because it's missing a key piece of information, it steps in. It intercepts the action. But, and this is the important part, it doesn't just block it. It actually guides the agent, showing it a safer, much better way to get the job done. And this right here, this quote from their design docs, this says it all. A gate in Nova is ideally not just a no, but a better positive path. This is the whole philosophy in one sentence. It's not about building walls to stop the agent. It's about building better doors, and then teaching the agent how to see them and use them. All right, let's see how this actually works. We'll start with the first and simplest example, something called the bootstrap gate. So the problem it solves is a classic rookie mistake. An agent fires up a new session, and with no guidance, it starts asking for the tools it can use one by one. This is just incredibly inefficient. It wastes time, it burns through expensive API tokens, and you know what? It might not even find all the cool tools it has access to. So the Bootstrap Gate just steps right in. The second it sees that first tool call, it injects this super helpful one-time warning. It doesn't just scream error. It says, hey, hold on, you haven't called tools_bundle yet. You could load all 96 plus tools in one single efficient go. And then it does something amazing. It gives the agent the exact command it needs to run. It's not just correcting the agent, it's teaching it how to be better. Okay, that was a nice warm-up. Now for a much more critical example, the SBA navigation gate. This is the one that tackles that session-destroying problem we talked about earlier. Let's just walk through this disaster in slow motion. Step 1, the agent's logged in, everything is great. Step 2, it issues a standard Nova Navigate command. Seems logical, right? But step 3, that command triggers a full-page reload. And step 4, poof. The in-memory session is just gone, the agent is logged out, the task has failed, and it has no idea what just happened. This is where the SPA navigation gate comes in to save the day. It prevents this whole mess by giving the agent that awareness it was missing. Before it lets a potentially destructive navigate command go through, it analyzes the page. It looks to see if the session is fragile and might get wiped out by a page reload. And the logic here is just beautifully simple. As you can see, if it detects a fragile session and the agent hasn't specifically said, I know what I'm doing, it blocks the action. If the session seems sturdy, it lets it go through. And see that force equals true option? That's the escape hatch. It lets the agent say, yep, I hear you, I understand the risk, but proceed anyway. So when it blocks the action, what happens? It doesn't just fail. The agent gets a structured error, something a machine can actually read and understand. This isn't a dead end, it's a signal. It tells the agent exactly why its action was stopped. And this is where the magic really happens. This illustrates that core philosophy perfectly. The error message itself contains that better positive path. It doesn't just say no. It says, hey, you probably shouldn't use Nova.navigate here. You should try this other, much safer tool instead, Nova.route. It's actively guiding the agent to the right solution. And what's really cool is that the guidance is smart. It's context-aware. If the agent is trying to move around on the same website, it suggests Nova Route. If it's trying to go to a totally different site, it suggests opening a new tab, which keeps the current session safe. And no matter what, it always reminds the agent about that force equals true override, making sure the agent is always in control. So let's zoom out for a second. When you look at this whole pattern, you realize this is more than just a set of rules. It's a full-on guidance system. A simple firewall? What does it do? It just says no. It's a wall. But an agent awareness gate, it's more like a really helpful guide. It stops you from walking into a wall, sure, but then it explains why it's a wall, points you toward the door right next to it, and, just for good measure, reminds you that if you really, really want to, you can still try climbing that wall. And this is just so crucial. It's a cooperative system. The agent can always override the gate. The AAG is there to provide guardrails to prevent those common, silly mistakes. But at the end of the day, the agent is still in the driver's seat. It's about empowering the agent, not restricting it. And honestly, this matters way beyond just browser automation. This whole pattern of giving a system contextual awareness and then giving it positive, actionable ways to recover instead of just letting it fail, that's a fundamental step toward building AI systems that are more robust, more reliable, and just way more effective in pretty much any field. Which kind of leaves us with a final thought to chew on. What if the future of AI safety and reliability isn't really about building higher and higher walls to contain AI, but about getting much, much better at designing more obvious, more helpful doors, and then teaching the AI how to see them?